Hey metalheads, welcome back. I've got an absolute fantastic album view for you. If you're a fan of progressive metal like I am, this is a real treat. This is one of my favorite albums of this year. So I'm going to tell you who the artist is and the album title. It's by a band called Paralydium. The album is called Universal Calls. It's just come out on Frontier Records. Check it out. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the band's history and we're going to talk about this great album, folks. Now, Paralydium released their debut album also on Frontier Records. This was called Worlds Beyond. This was released in 2020. If you've not heard it, you're missing a great album. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the band's history, about the vocals, and everything else that you need to know. Now, these guys were formed in 2015 from Stockholm in Sweden. They're an absolutely amazing band, folks. I'm going to tell you what they sound like. If you're a fan of another Swedish band called Cloudscape, who released five albums, one of the albums was called Global Drama. You really need to check out these guys because this album really does sound like Cloudscape. I love Cloudscape albums. So if you do like the vocals of Mike Anderson, this is the album for you. Also, influences on this album would be Symphony X, DGM, and a band called Lalu from France, also Santa Frontier Records. So the lineup for the debut album would be John Berg on guitars, we'd have Georg, Härnsten on drums, we'd also have Johan Olsson on bass guitar, Mikael on keyboards, and the vocalist for the debut album would be called Mikael. He's a good vocalist, really is, different from the new singer that's on the new album. Now, the debut album is pretty much like DGM and also Symphony X. There are some elements of Lalu, but the newer album is more diverse. Now, the vocalist on the debut album very much reminds me of the singer from DGM from Italy. Other bands that spring to mind when I listen to this band is also an English band called Threshold, and there are elements of Dream Theater in there, as you can imagine. Now, this new album, which is called Universe Calls, this features a new singer, and his name was called Alexander Lycke, who does really sound like Mike Anderson from the band Cloudscape. I think this is a really good, strong progression from the debut album. A little bit more varied. Like I said, there are other elements in there, like bands like Lalu. Cloudscape is definitely a big influence on this album. And there's nothing wrong with that because Cloudscape wrote some amazing albums. I just wish these guys would reform. Now, the production on this new album is absolutely fantastic. They're really strong songs with some catchy melodies. The opening track is actually an instrumental intro. It's called Prelude. This will be followed by the song Sands of Time, which is absolutely fantastic. Now, I have to say this album only contains 7 songs. It's pretty long, but there are a couple of instrumentals on here, which I think could have been fillers. That is the only downfall for this album. A couple more songs with vocals in there would have been absolutely brilliant, but it is a great album no matter what. So I'm going to tell you what the song titles are for this new album. We've got 7 songs. Bear in mind that there's a couple of instrumentals on here. The opening track is an intro. It's called Prelude. This will be followed by the song Sands of Time, followed by Forging the Past, the Arcane Exploration Part 1 and Part 2, which will be the last song. We'd also have Caught in a Dream and Interlude. So that's the songs for the new album. Next song, Sands of Time. This is absolutely phenomenal. I really enjoyed listening to this. It's really does remind me of the Cloudscape album, Global Drama, which for me is my favorite album by the band. It's very catchy. There's some amazing vocals here, really well thought out, very melodic, very catchy, with some amazing arrangements. So this song, Sands of Time, is one of my favorite songs and one of the best songs on the album. If you're going to buy this album, this is the song that you really need to check out first. This song also reminds me of a band called Mirith from Tunisia and also Kamelot from Florida. Next song is called Forge in the Past. Yet another classic song, very much in the vein of Cloudscape, like I said before. To me, this album and this band sound like Cloudscape's little brother, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But they are fantastic musicians writing some great music. Like I say, I do prefer this album from the previous. The first album's really good anyway, but this singer, Alexander, is absolutely amazing. Now, this song has a fantastic middle part, which is really well put together. It's pretty mellow, but some really nice acoustic guitar playing here with a brilliant vocal melodies. Now, the next song is the Arcane Exploration. This is a part 1. This is a really good song. It takes a while to build up. It almost sounds like an instrumental, but it does build up really strong with some really catchy music. Next up is the song Caught in a Dream. If you're a fan of Symphony X, this is for you. It's a cross between Cloudscape and Symphony X. A little bit of DGM in there as well. And some elements of keyboard, like I said, of Lalu from France. Now, I can't knock this album. It's one of my favourite albums this year, and I'm hoping that the band come back with a strong album like this. If you want to check out this band and you are a fan of Symphony X, DJM, or especially Cloudscape, you won't go wrong with this album, trust me. I'm going to give this album 5 out of 5. Great songs, great production, really well thought out, catchy tunes, and some fantastic vocals. So check it out, guys. It's by the band Paralydium, and the album's called Universal Cause, released on Frontier Records. More albums coming soon. Stay metal, metalheads. Thanks for watching.